All right, starting off today, this is 10th University, and I created this podcast with a couple friends, and we just like to dive in. We try to find these rare people that have a rare mindset. They're talking if there's 100 people, they're in that 10th percentile. So today we have my dog Rae, real estate investor, local one in Tallahassee, and just let him speak about, I want him to talk about house hacking and the BRRRR method, but we're going to talk about house hacking first.
All right, for those who don't know what house hacking is, it's basically having roommates who help you pay your mortgage. For example, you could buy a single family home and rent out some bedrooms and your mortgage should be way cheaper. A lot of people don't like to do that because it's not very comfortable, but I always try to say you got to be uncomfortable now so you can be where you want to be later. Right. So you gotta make some sacrifices. Like, a lot of people gonna look at you crazy, like, roommates. But hey, you saving on your biggest expense, which is normally your mortgage or your rent payment. And if you saving on that money, you can be investing it or saving it and putting it towards buying another house. It add up.
Right. I remember talking about it earlier, like, and my goal is when I first get a property, the first thing I'm planning on doing is house hacking. I don't care how I got to do it. I don't care if hopefully it'd be a multi-family, but even if it's rooms, you know what I'm saying? I just find some friends that want to live together, or I'll even go on Airbnb. Somebody can, come in and stay there. But it's like, again, like your biggest expense, what you spend the most money on, your biggest hassle. I know people that's plenty happy until it comes, the first of the month and they got to pay that rent, man. So it's like, I just want to take in on that. And, you also want to talk about, like, the BRRRR method. Like, what does that stand for? Pretend we know nothing at all about this acronym you just gave us.
Before I speak on the BRRRR method, I just wanted to add something about house hacking.
Okay, cool.
You can also, for those who don't know, you can use a FHA loan, which basically allows you to put 3.5% down on a multifamily, which a multifamily means a duplex up to a quadplex. So I was looking at this house in Texas. It's a quadplex. The mortgage would be like $2,300 a month, but each unit rented for like $775 a month. So $775 times 3 was about $2,300. You basically living rent free to live in the fourth unit. And once you move out after a year, you can rent it out. Now you're making that $700 a month. Right. And you can just do it all over again. FHA loan, put 3.5% down on the house, move in, and move out after a year, and you got a new property. And it just keep adding up. So let me speak on BRRRR, which stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. What's so powerful about BRRRR? If you do it right, you can pull out all the money that you put into a house and take it to your next property. So
refinance. Yeah,
with the refinance. So to give an example, let's say you bought a property for $20,000 and you put $20,000 worth of work into it. Now you just spent $40,000, but let's say the house is worth $100,000 now. Let me back up. So you bought it for $20,000, you rehab for $20,000, so that's $40,000. Then you got to rent it out for, let's just say $1,000. And then you go to the bank and be like, hey, my property is now worth $100,000. I want to do a cash out refinance. The bank will give you 70% usually of what the house is worth. So 70% of 100,000 is 70,000. 70,000 minus 40,000 is 30,000 profit. Hopefully I didn't go too fast, but
I would say that's a lot of numbers. I know I wasn't the best at algebra or calculus, but so basically you bought a property and you rented it out, and then you rehabbed on it, right? You rehab.
Rent, refinance, repeat.
Okay, so you bought a property, then you fixed it up to increase the value of the house.
Yep.
Then you rent it out, and then you refinance and you let them know, like, hey, that old property, you thought it was just $100,000, but it's actually more the value of it now. So now they help you refinance to pull that the expected money out up to 70% of it.
Yeah, so the bank will allow you to, they let you take out 70% LTV, loan to value, of the house or what it's appraised for. So the bank could send somebody there to appraise it, and let's say it appraised for 100,000, they'll give you up to 70%. You don't have to take the whole 70%, but they'll give you up to 70% of the house, and then you end up paying. It's a loan, so you end up paying a mortgage now, and your rent. Let's say the mortgage is like $500 a month,
Right.
and you rent it out for $1,000. You making like $500 profit. Well, that's not profit because you need to set aside some of that money for like when stuff go wrong, when you got vacancy,
Right.
when you got stuff just breaking. So I would say save at least 50% of your rent. That's a good safe number. So it's 50% of the profit.
I want to speak on this earlier. You just said, like, you saving about 50% of the rent. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, as soon as I think landlord, as soon as I think, yo, this person has a property, I just think, like, this person is balling out of control. Like music video type thing. Like, he just got an extra $500. But, like, could you, tell me what's being a landlord? What is that really like? Or what is your lifestyle like,
Well, I haven't been a landlord for very long.
Okay.
I started in the summer of 2019. First tenants were some temporary workers who were there. Temporary workers, like they was working in the area and trying to do college at the same time. It was interesting. I didn't have no issues with them, but they was only there for like 3-4 months. But right now, I'm trying to work on Section 8 because
Section 8?
I like Section 8 because the rent is guaranteed. It's a lot of negative stigma around Section 8, but there's a high-class Section 8 tenant and there's a low-class Section 8 tenant. A high-class Section 8 tenant not going to stay and live with anybody. And they know slumlords and they not going to stay with a slumlord. So if you want to attract a high-quality Section 8 tenant, you got to have a high-quality home. And they'll take care of your home, and you won't have them horror stories that people always talking about for Section 8.
Yeah, them horror stories. I know a couple things just pop in my head, just like run down, you know what I'm saying? Like the hood of the hood. But yeah, so what, first off, let's speak about, do you know any horror stories you want to speak about?
I don't know any regarding Section 8, but I've heard some crazy horror stories about tenants. Like Graham Stephan, he was saying he had this dude who dressed up nice for the interview. Him and his girlfriend came up in suits, covered up all their tattoos. They had a fake landlord reference. Then they was growing weed in the garage, and he didn't find out until, because he was trying to get his home refinanced, and the tenant didn't want him. Like, you can't go in here. He's like, I need to go in here. It's on the lease. Right. Like, you gonna let me in here? And long story short, he ended up evicting the guy. The dude was he was making death threats. Yeah, he pulled guns out on people coming to the property. Whoa. It was crazy. I haven't had nothing like that happen to me. It's really, you can prevent all that with your screening. You got to make sure that you weeding out bad candidates. It depends on your area, but generally you got to make 3 times the income of whatever you asking for rent. A lot of people won't even take you if you had an eviction. No felony. I feel like that some it's up to you, but you gotta be able to weed out certain people. So generally, if they can't afford they don't make at least 3 times the rent, they shouldn't rent from you. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so that's important right there, man. So I feel like you save a lot of trouble, you know what I'm saying? Just like, because I've been told, a tenant can mess up a lot of stuff. Like, any rule that you have, no pets, no smoking, no whatever, I feel like anytime you can pop up and it can be all of that and more. It's like I don't know how y'all came up with that. Going back to that weed story. But yeah, so properties. So are you looking for any properties right now? Like how do you find new properties? That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm always looking for properties. Right now, I'm primarily focusing on Facebook ads to get people who's motivated sellers who's interested in selling. They'll contact me and say they got a house. I'm also doing something called cold calling. I have like a list of motivated sellers. It's kind of exhausting, but you just keep calling. Hey, I'm a cash. Hey, my name's Rae. I'm a real estate investor, a local real estate investor, and I would love to buy your property for cash as is. Are you interested? And just keep calling. You get a lot of no's, but you may get that one yes, and that one yes can make you a lot of money.
So I know I'm doing cold calling as well, and I can say just honestly like this, it's probably the beauty of it is there's no way you can get worse after hearing so many no's because you build a callus up. I feel like now it's like me asking for anything. It's like, yo, like I cold call. Like you think I'm scared to ask for? I'm at a restaurant. I'm scared to ask for another fork or something. No, excuse me. Because you done heard so many no's. It's ridiculous. But yeah. So you just need we got his little saying. Me and my dog Darius. Shout out to Darius. It only takes one. So that's how we keep it motivated. And, talking to you help push, getting my stuff on the schedule, my cold calling and everything. So it only takes one. But yeah, so how could a person go from regular Joe, I'm working in the workforce, and how could they make a transition to the investor side of real estate? Because a lot of people just think real estate is only for realtors,
I would say first you need to absorb as much information as you can on real estate. Also, I would say start off with house hacking. I forgot to mention that house hacking is one of the best ways to get started in real estate. Because if you're renting, why pay somebody else's mortgage? Why not try to move into a house hack, right, make your mortgage cheaper? Then you can move out after a year or two and just repeat the process. Then after you move out, rent the house out. Now you got a rental property. Right. And I think that's one of the best ways to get started without having to spend too much because you'll have a house instead of opposed to buying an investment property, which generally you got to put down 20% versus 3.5%. A lot of people can't put down 20% on an investment property. That's a lot of money. It's easier to put down 3.5% and just live in the house for a year, and then you can move out and repeat the process.
Yeah, that's real right there. So go to those investor meetings. What they call it? REI meetings or whatever, something like that. Google investor meetings. Once you Google investor meetings, trying to find a local one. That's how I met you. And that's how, we just network, and YouTube University, shout out to them. They were definitely the first thing I learned from. I didn't know anything about real estate, not till I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad did I know that, that's even possible, So, but I know books is extremely important to me. I know you as well. I sent you a couple books and you download them that day, like instantly. So, like, what books are you reading? And, just talk about that.
I don't really read too many books as much as I feel like I should. But lately, I've been using this app called Blinkist. It's like a summarizing book. And I just listen to the audio. But a book I do recommend is the BRRRR book by, I can't think of his name, but
Bigger Pockets.
If you just Google Bigger Pockets BRRRR book, it'll pop up. As one of the co-hosts, I can't think of it, David Green, that's his name. David Green BRRRR book. He breaks down BRRRR and why it's such a great strategy. I think if you read, another thing was so powerful about BRRRR, it helps you learn like all the stages of real estate investing: acquiring properties, rehabbing properties, being a landlord. You don't have to be a landlord. You can get a property manager also if you don't want to deal with people. But it just helps you learn so much quickly. That's another reason I feel like I've learned so much over these past couple of months. I bought a fixer upper that was pretty much gutted. It had no walls. It was a headache, but
Time out. We need a quick flag on the play. You said it had no walls, bro.
it pretty much had no walls.
So you was walking in. So you bought this property, and you just walking into like, I'm imagining just about nothing, but some structure a little bit.
I got a video I can show you.
Wow. So you built it from the ground up. Like, you gotta tell me about that process, cause that's something I would do.
Yeah, it was a scary process, honestly. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But I bought the property. Started working with some contractors. One of them ended up scamming us. I was working with a partner at the time, but he scammed us with some faulty electrician work. But I remedied the issue. But yeah, the property was vacant. All you could see was wood in there. Ended up having to put new flooring, new drywall, paint, light fixtures, pretty much everything but building the house itself needed to be done in the side of that property. And it's been a very good learning experience.
That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking like, yeah, that sounds like a lot of unexpected stuff. But I can only imagine like the amount of experience you just gained from going through that. It's like, there's another book I'm crazy about. I haven't even started yet, but I just read the back of it. It's what's it called? It's called You Can't Learn to Ride a Bike from Watching a Seminar. That's the name of the book. And it's like, just the title was like, yo, that's real. Like, I go to so many seminars and speak to so many people, but it's not to like actually get out there and do it myself. I want to learn, So like, yeah, that's real hand experience right there. So, also I want to speak on, your mentality, man. Like you're very giving. You know what I'm saying? Like you gave me that book, The BRRRR Method. You know what I'm saying? That was before I really even knew you. So like, where does giving mindset come from?
Yeah, I try to push people to real estate as much as I can. My family kind of get annoyed with it, but I'm just trying to help them get financially free and escape the rat race. I don't want to work for my whole life. I don't want to be forced to work my whole life. Let me rephrase. If I want to work, I want to have the choice to work. I don't want to have to be put in a situation where I have to work to put food on the table. Yeah. And I just like sharing. I keep a folder of real estate stuff, and I like sharing it to other people who are interested in getting started. And if you really serious, it has most of the stuff you need to get started.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, has somebody done that for you? Like, is there somebody, that was just giving information, just like, putting it out there that kind of pushed you in that way? Or it was kind of just you?
It isn't anybody personally who been pushing me, but most of the stuff in the folder is stuff I collected from YouTube videos or random real estate websites. Some stuff I even bought. I put it in the folder and just like, hey, if you serious, here's the stuff to get started.
Okay, so I definitely appreciate that, man. You blessed me, man. So I was sitting there. It's crazy. Like I've started my little real estate journey like January of this year. So it's like just to come this far, I feel like I know just a ton, and I'm still not comfortable. 'Cause I'm just like, I haven't even gotten my first property yet, and it's like I know once I get one, I'm gonna be like, I gotta do the BRRRR method. So I gotta buy the next one, and I feel like I'm never gonna be satisfied, but looking back at how far I came, it's I'm moving in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely contribute to that a lot. I mean, a lot, bro. So, yeah, I know we talked about this earlier off camera, but Can you talk about some of your goals for right now?
Yeah, so my goals are to acquire. First, I have several goals. You need to have at least like a year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal. But 10-year goal, I would like to have at least 100 rental properties. But before then, I want to have 10, and then I want to have enough to cover my monthly expenses. Let's just say my monthly expenses are $5,000. I need to have enough rental properties to cover $5,000, and I'll be set. And once you reach that level, you can do whatever you want to do. You're not forced to go to work. Right. All your expenses are covered by rental properties. Right.
That sounds like the life to be, because from then it's like everything else you do is like on your time because you don't have to. Exactly. I feel like that's when you really actually reach that freedom level. And to get to 100, now you just like, all right, I'm making sure my family gets to the freedom level and the people after them. So I know you're a big influence on me. And I know probably your family as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, they probably be like, Rae, stop sending us videos all the time, man. But I know my family do the same thing, man. I be in our little group chat going crazy, talking about, watch this video, check this out, and play this game with me, Cash Flow. Shout out to Cash Flow. And you gave that to me. And so let's also talk about what's the best way to serve people.
Best way I know to serve people right now, I try to give them information on real estate. Some people may not take it, but hey, the information is there. It's out there. If you really want to get started, it's on you. You just got to put the work in, and don't be afraid to. Don't get analysis paralysis. Once you get all the information, you got to act. You got to act somehow. Act by going to real estate meetups. Go talk to people. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. You are like the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you spending your time with people who ain't doing nothing, you most likely not gonna be doing nothing. But if you spending your time with 5 people who are motivating you, making sure you got your stuff together, making sure you on track with your goals, you need accountability partners. Like, hey, are you still doing that? You still trying to lose weight from, or whatever your goal was. Like, hey, you still doing this? Yeah. A lot of people post them New Year's resolutions, but they don't got people checking up on them, making sure they still doing what they were supposed to be doing. So if you can have an accountability partner, I feel like that goes a long way too.
A long way, man. A long way. So I can think about, just me, I know I got to shout out to Darius and Math Y, both of them, they've been keeping up with me. They'll send me hit me a text like, okay, how the cold calling coming? Or they just say like, they just give us a story, So, it'd be like, hey, well, all right, this is kind of bad, but I remember I texted him, and I told him, I was like, hey, I got my first F off. I'm not going to say it. And I was like, he was like, man, congratulations, man. On the cold calling. So it's been fun, man. And, so I want you also to shout out to anybody, it's all about networking. Shout out to anybody that, you're in need of, what I'm saying? It could be a photographer, a mechanic, anybody in the world. Like, just give them a shout out.
Well, I'm in need of people who, bird dogs, anybody who coming across motivated sellers like all the time and you're interested in making some money, I'll be glad to pay you a referral fee if I can close on the house. If you know somebody who need to sell their house quickly, or somebody who just in a bad situation with their house, right. I like to be a problem solver. I'm not just trying to lowball people. I'm trying to think of creative ways to save them from financial destruction. And sometimes it ends up with them losing their house. Sometimes they can keep the house. Right. It's really up to the seller.
Right. I know that being a problem solver, I know that's a big thing, I know with my cold calling, it's been helping a lot lately, just doing things like, I'm cold calling to see if you want to, if you're motivated and, you're in need or something like that. But sometimes it's just like, I want to sell my property, but, I want to sell it for market price. So that's why, you know, I talk to so many realtors. That way I can be like, all right, well, I'm not the person for you, you know what I'm saying? But I do have a team full of good realtors. And so I just look at the price range of, you know, their house, and that'll tell me which one to direct to, you know? So just thinking outside the box, you know, just more than you. You know what I'm saying? It's been a blessing. It's been really helping, you know. So, but yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming out here and, you know, helping us out, giving us some good gems. And, yeah, 10th University. Only 1 out of 10 make it in.